Hello, hello. Welcome to today's summer social. I'm Katie from the Sewcial Circle, and today we're going to be making some little moon purses. So cute little pouches with a little moon on it, and I'll show you how to do some little flower decorations. So you'll need some felt. I've got a little bit of rope as well, some embroidery floss. And then I've also printed out a little template as well. So I've got that ready to go. Okay, and let's get started. So I'm going to turn you around and I'll go through everything that you need for this workshop and then we'll get started. So let me just swap you around. Okay, so today we're going to make some little moon purses. I've got some little decorations as well to sew onto my little purse once it's done. So this is all you'll need today. So I've got a little bit of rope for the strap. This is some sticky back yellow felt. So it's got a little paper backing and we won't need to sew on our moon. We're just going to cut it out and stick it on. So that makes things a little bit easier. I've got a few little flower cutouts to decorate my rope with. So I'll put those off to the side for now. Sewing needle, this is going to be my main pouch fabric, and I've got my template. So today we're going to start by cutting out our template. So I've got some paper scissors here for that. So I'm just going to start by cutting out my little pouch shape and also my little moon as well. Okay, so I've got my little pouch shape. So I've got my 2 sheets of teal felt here. So I'm just going to pop that on the top and I'm going to use a couple pins just to hold it in place. So mind your fingers. If you don't have any pins, you could just trace the shape on the top of the felt as well, or just do your best to hold it in place while you cut it out. Okay, and then I'm going to cut. So just going to hold my little template and then just cut around the shape. I'm cutting through both layers of felt. It's quite thin, so it works quite well like that. And just nice and careful. Cut out like that. I'm just going to cut out my shapes. So I've got my 2 little pouch shapes. So I've got my little shapes here. The next thing I'm going to do is cut out my moon. So I've got a nice piece of sticky back felt. So I'm just going to place my moon on top. And then the rectangle is a little bit bigger than you need it to be. So if you put your moon up to the corner, and then you've got lots of space to reuse for another craft project. So this doesn't show up too well, but you can get the shape of the moon. So I'm just going to trace that so I know about how big to cut it. So just hold that in place. And trace your moon. There we go. So I can see where my moon is. Pop that off to the side as well. So that'll be a nice little moon shape. Got my fabric scissors. So I'm just going to cut out my moon. So all of this leftover, if you do any other little felt projects, you could always create some other little shapes to stick onto your sewing projects, that sort of thing. So just cut out my little moon. like that, and I'll save these bits for later. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is stick my moon down in the center of my pouch. So this bit, it can be a bit tricky to try to get the paper backing off of the sticky bit, so you might need to play around with it to try to get them apart. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it just takes, you have to find the right spot. It's very sticky, this stuff. Try to get it without the felt coming off. Hold on a sec. I think I got it. There we go. And there we go. So peel off the paper backing, and then you can just place that down and just give it a good push to stick that down. There we go. So once we have our little moon stuck down, we're ready to sew. So I'm going to stitch around the entire pouch first, and then I'm going to attach my rope just at the top corners here. I've tied some knots because this rope frays, so I want it to fray at the bottom here to make like a little tassel. So I'll just be adding some stitches at the end to these corners. And then what we'll do is use our little flower cutouts to add some little decorations. Maybe I'll do one here and one a bit further up. So I'll show you how to stitch those on. You can do all sorts of different, you could have them right at the corners if you want, but I think I'll do them like this. Okay, so it's a nice, cute, short little project today. So we'll do some overstitching, stitch on our ropes, and then stitch on our little flower decorations there. So we'll get started with the overstitch now. So just get your needle, a little bit of thread. So I'm going to use an arm's length of thread. That should be enough. Let me just measure. So I've measured up to my shoulder and back down again. And I always use a double thread. And a double thread, it just helps so that you don't need to remember to hold on to your thread by the needle. So some people sew with just one thread, but I always forget to hold the tail. So I just tend to double it, just like that. And then we're going to tie a knot at the bottom. So just wrap it once round your finger and then roll it off and pull. And I get a nice big knot at the bottom there. Okay, and I'm going to start stitching. So if you're left-handed, then you'll go around like this. If you're right-handed, just start on the other side. It'll be the same, just going in the opposite direction. So when we start with our overstitch, and we always start from the center, from the middle. So I'm going to just lift up my top layer, and I'm going to start from the inside, right in the corner there. And this is going to hide my knot on the inside of my pouch there. So I've just got that stuck in, so you cannot see it at the bottom, stuck in there. And I'm just going to start with my overstitch. So with this stitch, the only thing you need to remember is to go up from the bottom and pull, up from the bottom and pull, and we're going to keep going along in this way, up from the bottom and pull, and we're just going to keep going all the way around our little pouch here. So up from the bottom and pull, and you want to keep your stitches quite close together, so that you don't have any gaps and you don't lose any special pennies or shells out of the bottom of your little pouch here. So up from the bottom and pull. I'm just assuming that's what you might keep in your special pouch. So up from the bottom and pull. And we're just going to work our way around the little pouch here. Up from the bottom and pull. If your thread gets a little bit twisted, you could just smooth it out with your fingers. So you get up from the bottom and pull. And just work your way around the little pouch there. And if your pieces become a little bit out of line, that's all right. You can always trim it at the top. There you go. So I'm nearly there. I'm on the straightaway now. How is everyone doing with their sewing? Good. It's quite simple stitching today, so nothing too complicated. So it's a good chance to practice your overstitch and get it nice and neat. So there we go, up from the bottom and pull. Nearly at the top now. So I'm going to do one more stitch right at the top and make a little knot. So before I pull my stitch all the way tight, I'm just going to send it back through that little loop. So I'm going to do that 2 times so it's nice and secure at the top. And the pouch part is finished, so just gonna, that's very good. Just the right size for a few little treasures. Okay, so I still have quite a bit of thread on my needle, so I'm not going to add more thread. I'm just going to bring in my rope here. Great. Okay, so we're ready to sew on the rope. So I've left my needle attached to there. If you've run out of thread, just thread a new needle and hide your knot on the inside. And I'm just placing my rope. I've done a knot at the end, and I'm just placing it like a centimeter down from the top there. And I'm just going to sew around it. So I've got my thread going under it, and I'm just going to sew around it. So also through my pouch. Pull that nice and tight, and then it's going to go under the rope around. So I'm just sewing like little loops around the rope to secure it. So I'm not really sewing through it because I've got that knot at the bottom. So I know it won't slide through. I'm just sewing around it. So it makes it nice and secure. Probably only need 3 or 4 little stitches there to go around it. There we go. And then you can just secure it on the back. So to finish your thread, you can just pick up a little bit of the rope and the thread, and then just send your needle through your loop. It's the same knot we do over and over again. So just pick up a little bit of the rope and the thread and just send it back through. And then I'm gonna just finish my thread off inside the rope to hide it, because I don't want any little tails sticking out. And then I probably have enough thread to do the other side of the rope. So I'm just gonna keep with this thread and just go over to the other side. My rope is coming untwisted, so I just twist that up again. And then do the other side. So place it here. And it's cute, makes a nice little like tassel. So just gonna start from the inside and just come out on the side there. And we're gonna wrap it around again. So this bit is a little bit fiddly. We're just gonna do a few little wraps around the rope just to attach it in place. Gonna go up along the rope a little bit so that I'm right at the corner. Yeah, just enough so that it's nice and secure. And then once you've got it nice and tight there, you can do again the same as we did on the other side. Just pick up a bit of the felt and a bit of the rope. And we just kind of tie it off. And there we go. I'm just going to send my needle back through there to hide my little tails and cut that. Okay, so let's see how it looks from the front here. Super. Might trim these a little bit. And there we go. Okay, so I've got my little pocket. Now it's ready for some decoration. So that's my little pouch. And now I'm going to decorate the straps. So you don't need much thread for this bit. So just gonna grab a little bit. And you can have total creative freedom on this one. So you can put your flowers anywhere you like. You don't have to copy me if you want to separate them out. So we had some leftover yellow. If you wanted to add a little yellow circle to the center of this one, go for it and separate them. It's totally up to you. I think I'm gonna stack these. So I've got a little circle, big flower, medium flower, and I think I'll do the tulip with the little leaf. But you've got some extra little sticky felt there if you wanted to add some more little decorations. So I've got enough thread here. So I'm gonna do another arm's length of thread, and that'll be definitely more than enough to stitch on my little flowers here. So I get my needle threaded, pull that through, and then I'm gonna do a knot. So I just wrap it around once and then roll it off. And I'm going to do this one first. So just have to decide, sorry, I have to decide where I want it. Maybe just here, because this is a little bit messy, so I'm gonna just stitch it there. And then maybe the flower a little bit further up. What do you think? Good? Looks good? All right. I'm gonna start with the tulip, so I'll put that on the side. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just attach the leaf to the tulip. So I'm gonna start at the back and just do a couple stitches. Maybe I'll do a few straight stitches just to attach it together. So I'll come back up. There we go. Maybe I'll do one more over here just so that it looks a little bit decorative. Do some little lines at the top here. So just like that. And then that's nice and secure. And then I've got my little thread on that side. So when you've picked your little place, yeah, just hold it on. And like we attach the rope to the pouch, we're just going to sew either around the rope or through the rope. Maybe I'll go a bit through it and then out the other side, just so that it's nice and secure. Maybe I'll do one through and then a couple around it. So just a couple stitches is enough to make sure it's nice and secure there. Just gonna bring that back up to the top. So I've got a few stitches at the top there to hold it in place, and it's nice and secure on the back. And I'm just going to do a little knot, and that's it. You just need a couple stitches for each one. So just gonna knot that. And then just send my rope through. Oops. And then just cut that. And we've got our first little flower attached to the rope. So I got my knot ready to go on my other thread, on my next thread. So here we go. So my next little set of flowers, I'm gonna do it a little bit higher up, and I'm going to try and make like a little star shape in the center of the purple flower. So to do that, I'm just going to come up from the back and try to come up on the side of my little circle, and I want to sew across for the first little star, first little line of the star. And now that's in the back, I can use that thread to go around my rope. Just stick that in. So just imagine that we're just stitching a star, but we've got a rope going in the back of it. So for my next little line, just going to come up again and go down in a little X. And then we'll be able to see on the back that we've gone over the rope, so I know it'll be nice and secure. And I'm going to do one more line on the X. I'm going to come up down here, and we make a little star shape and go down in the middle and just check. I want to go through that rope so that it'll be nice and secure. And from the front, I've got a nice little star. And on the back, it looks a little bit messy, but it doesn't matter. And I'm just gonna secure my thread. So just pick up a little bit of felt, a little bit of rope, and send my needle through that loop. And I'm gonna do 2 of those little knots like we always do, and pull that, and just bring my thread to the other side and cut. So let's take a look at that. So I've got my little pouch. I've got a couple little decorations on there, and it is ready to be filled with some treasure. There we go. So it's a really simple little project, quick one to do. So if you're catching up, it's just simple overstitch around the little pocket, couple stitches to secure the rope, and then just add some little decorations on the strap, and it's ready to go. And you've got enough little space in there to add some little letters or notes or little shells or like the most special stones. There's always one special stone, isn't there? So there we go. All right, have a great rest of your week, and I will catch up with you in the group. Bye.